Alright, can we stop that now, please? Alright, listen. Hi, Edmund. Edmund's here, and he's joining us today. I'll turn this way.
Tyrone!
Alright, hey, stop. Listen. Shh. I need you guys to be cooperative here, please. Edmund, can you mute your mic for a little bit, please? Just because because of audio reasons.
Mute.
What I want to talk to you guys about is a couple of things. One, the results from the weekend's tournament. I'm displeased with the public forum results, obviously. However, sit down and be quiet, Catherine. I will send you out of this room.
Okay.
I want you guys to know that I am currently filming. Why am I filming? Well, because, yes, radical transparency, of course. But additionally, I want you guys to know something, that this is the transition practice between practice and nationals. We are going to start prepping for nationals this Sunday on May 1st. I got a bit of a head start, as I mentioned already, with Connie and Edmund. Last night, mostly with Edmund, and Connie mostly bailed. So that was fine, though. Listen. Some of the things I learned in talking to Edmund and Connie were some of the stuff that we weren't prepared for. Now, in public forum, what I've concluded, having talked to Walnut at some length about it, Alice?
Yes.
Can you stop, please?
Yes.
Evelyn?
Yes.
Okay, guys,
Focus.
listen. What I've concluded is that I threw a bunch of stuff at you early on that I never really intended for you to run as primary stuff. A lot of you guys got stuck running that anyway, and I never adequately told you to transition away from the stuff. So at the beginning, I threw a bunch of generic stuff at you because I didn't have a lot of specific cards cut, right? The progressive tax stuff. That killed us. Progressive tax didn't work at all, and a lot of my teams were still running it. Even though I had said a couple of different times, guys, don't actually run that as your framework.
I didn't take it.
Hey, wait. I will ask for your commentary in a little bit. I want to talk to you about what I anticipate this Nats preparation period is looking like. For those of you who are still with us but not going to nationals, you'll be prepping the nationals topic as well, and I believe we will have a chance to compete at that at least one time before the end of the year. I don't know if we're going to go to that league tournament, but if we don't, I will hold a round robin on that topic, which will allow us all to compete on it. A round robin is a tournament that's just one event, public forum, and has a specific number of teams entered, and it's usually a square of 2. So that would be 4, 16, 32. Probably 32 is what we would run, okay? So I want you to be aware that that tournament will be coming up towards the end of May. However, for those of you who are not prepping for nationals, you will be gradually here. The class will come to an end before the end of the rest of the year. So stop, Evelyn, and as a consequence, then the national team will move forward and prep for nationals. But we're going to begin that as soon as the national topic comes out, May 1st. This, Evelyn, I want you to see when this comes out on video this evening, how you look and how Alice looks playing these little games with one another. This is good practice for you. Why? Because you'll get to see what you look like when you do silly stuff on camera. You look ridiculous. So don't do it, because I tell you why. This is my vision, and I'm hoping that everybody who's going will be on board. If anybody's not, they don't have to participate. There's no requirement to. But I think we have a legit shot at winning a national championship this year. I know we do in policy, and I know we do in public forum, but Alice wants to be a negative Nancy. Now look, in this most recent tournament, we ran afoul of some strategic mistakes I made in a couple of different areas. Those are mistakes I'm never going to make again. Period. I'm not going to make those mistakes.
Well, you're ENTP.
Stand in the camera.
Hey.
Yeah, you can see how
This
you look.
is the thing, guys. This is why I want to point it at you guys at the moment, is because I want you to understand that I want to film this whole process beginning to end. I want to film the process of us preparing and going through the nationals. I want to edit those videos. I want them to be, hi,
You're on camera.
I want them to be, guys, hey, shh. Yes, you are, Hannah. But you need to go get yourself a chair someplace.
Hello.
That's not disruptive at all. That is so not disruptive. Here, chair. Sit right here. Yeah.
That's not the camera. Yeah, so nobody
Okay,
can see
hey.
your ugly face.
Evelyn. Now you're going to see what that sounds like too, and you're going to be very ashamed of yourself, aren't you? Now look, when we begin this process, in addition to spending the vast majority of our time doing debate stuff, I am going to want, hopefully, for those of you who are willing and interested in participating, to film short interviews with each of you individually so that people get to know the characters. I've got a plan to interconnect all my different projects into one massive bird holocaust, as I call it. I will explain.
Oh, yes.
I will explain when it's silent. Now, first of all, when I watch these videos and you guys are being disruptive or poorly behaved, and I have to multiple times ask for quiet and such, I am embarrassed. I'm embarrassed because I seem like a bad teacher. So please, let's try, when the camera's on, not to embarrass Eric, okay? Embarrassed Eric becomes angry Eric very quickly. Don't. You're embarrassing me right now. Right now, I am feeling immense embarrassment and shame. You can see it. See how I'm blushing? I can't even stand in front of the camera because my face is bright red right now.
Totally. It's like a tomato. Exactly like a tomato.
So, anyhow, guys, the point is this. I'm going to stop this video right now. And then when we're done with this stuff, I want us to turn our attention briefly to hearing your guys', actually, let's keep the video rolling. I want to get your guys' comments one at a time. If you have something to say about the term that just happened, if you want to express your negativity, Alice, I want you to have your, excuse me, embarrassed again.
They didn't have RD.
Embarrassed again. Now, if you have an opinion, I want to go around, I want to hear everybody's thoughts that they wish to express regarding the tournament we just went through. I also want to stress before we go any further, we have ample reason to be very pleased with the results. Miranda won Congress, first place.
See, that's what
And guys, functionally, that's gonna, for our purposes, it's our state championship tournament. Okay, we had a lot of Northern California teams down there. Is probably a better representative. No, isn't whatever it's called, Fairmont?
Fairmont's from the area.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. There's only one Northern California team.
Oh, hey.
That was Harker.
Hey, shh. Reality is this. When we're talking about flow debate or congressional debate, we're talking about a certain number of teams being the dominant teams in the state. Those include Harker, they include the teams that were there to a certain extent, and we're probably missing a couple of the Northern California teams. In the state championship tournament up north, it's going to be the same way except reversed, right? They're going to be missing a couple of Southern California teams. So this tournament is, with Harker, there's a representative bringing 60 kids, because Harker brought 60 kids. And they brought their 60 best kids. You know how many kids are on that Harker team?
Like 1,000,000.
200.
Oh, God.
Well, that's not a lot.
The point is this, guys. Stop. The point is this. When you face the 60 best of a Juggernauts team, which is consistently year in and year out one of the strongest teams in the country, which is Harker for sure. Year in and year out. They're up there on that stage at Nationals. So when you face that squad and you face all the tough local competition, well, you're going to have a tough tournament. You have a younger squad, except for Alice in 8th grade. We didn't really, and Megan wasn't there. Isabella. You're 7th grade, Megan? Hey, first of all, rule number 2. You guys remember rule number 1 is you're not allowed to get hurt. Rule number 2, stop changing grades. Megan, you've been an 8th grader this whole year. When did you suddenly become a 7th grader?
Since the whole year.
I thought you were
That's just not cool for you to play those kind of tricks on me. Anyway, did Abraham know you're a 7th grader? Because I've been telling him you're an 8th grader.
Really?
You might have your year.
I didn't know she was an
Stop.
eighth.
Stop. 4 stops. This shame. Alright, guys, look. We are absolutely contenders for. We know that there are a couple of states that are always fielding the strongest people in debate events. California, Texas, New York.
Chaos.
Moi.
That's it.
What about Illinois?
Florida, maybe a little bit.
It may be like the speech.
Hey, I'm not talking speech. Guys, at this point, I just look like an idiot. I look like a terrible educator.
Next time you look like you don't know.
Oh, Catherine, you better close that mouth. Now here I go. Look, now I have to stand in front of the camera.
Hi, camera.
At least bend down your head.
Hi, camera. Host Eric here.
Let me be in the camera.
No, Hannah, sit down. Alright, hey, listen, the point is this. Going forward, let's hear your thoughts on the tournament, and then we're going to transition to some stuff about elections. I'm going to go, fine, I go with this order. Hannah, go.
It was okay, but the dual people are too good because they've been doing it for 3 years, and they're all 8th graders.
They're all
That's
eighth
not
graders.
fair.
Okay, one at a time, please. Don't chime in. It's Hannah's turn.
It's my turn. Why are you interrupting me?
I'm hushing everybody else for you, Hannah. Now look.
Do I continue?
Yes, please.
Yes. They are so old and experienced, and we've been doing it for 1 week.
I knew.
Shush it.
If we can't do this, we can't do this. Can we do this or not? I want to have some fun too, but it has to be constrained.
We were doing it for 1 week, and they had 3 years to do the same duo.
Alright, listen. I don't want to hear your excuses for your failure.
You said you wanted my opinion. That was my opinion. Now you're telling me I can't say my opinion?
I didn't say that. I said I don't want to hear it. I didn't say I was disallowing it.
Yeah.
I think a week is plenty of time to get that ready. Alright, now, Emily.
Say the same thing.
She said.
Alright.
Really unfair.
Quiet. No, we're going to have to stop it if people who've already gone can't be quiet. Evelyn, speak words.
No.
Alice.
We had 3 ballots with no RFDs on it. It was just blank. And 2 of them we lost. It was so annoying.
Do you feel as though you won those rounds?
Yes, I do. I think we won the last round.
Catherine, you want to go outside?
No, I'm okay.
There was no RFD for the last round.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
The judge was a lady
Yes,
judge.
the judge was a
He
lady
looked like
judge, and
Stop.
I was looking
Too
at
loud.
the ballots, and it was just like
Stop.
a blank ballot. And we lost. Like,
They should fire that guy.
fire.
He was exactly like
Oh my
Hey.
god. He has a hair?
Stop. Evelyn, it's not your turn.
What?
You passed on your turn. Now look, sometimes we are going to get flow judges. Sometimes we're going to get late judges. It's our job. It's our job to make it such that we win regardless. Emily, can you sit down properly, please?
Yes.
Now listen, I'm not done. It's our job to make the lay judges understand. I acknowledge that in this past tournament, I failed you guys in a lot of different ways. Despite the fact that I put a lot of hours in, I didn't necessarily put the hours in as smartly as I could have. I'm going to learn from my own mistakes, and hopefully you guys will learn from yours. Emily, that's still not sitting like a human being sits, okay? If you want to face this direction, turn the chair around.
Charles, you know what the RFD for one of the rounds we lost was? It was like they had 26%.
Alice, it's not your turn.
And you didn't have 26%, so they win the round. Yay!
Alright, hold on, stop. Grace, this was your very first tournament experience, and you and Catherine went 3-2. Let me
Harry did it while Maverick.
stop. Stop.
Guys,
Guys, what I think we're going to see when we watch this video is that none of us are happy with the way we come off here. You guys come off as a bunch of crazy animals.
That's right.
And I come off as a failed educator. So can we please listen to Grace and not interrupt her? Go.
I think for some of us we did pretty well in it, but there were mistakes and I think we can learn from those.
Well, what do you think? What happened to you? What did you encounter that you weren't expecting that I didn't prepare you for adequately? I mean, there's a lot. I don't doubt that. Hey, stop. There's always going to be a lot of that. Okay? Most coaches won't ask you this question phrased in this fashion. I will. So tell me, what didn't I prepare you adequately for?
We didn't have very many cards on education, so in one of our rounds, our opponents had their case on education, so we didn't really have anything to go against them.
That's such a good answer, right? Stop, Alice. I will come back to you. That's such an excellent answer. It's very precise. It tells me exactly where I failed you, which is what I need to know. Catherine, if you want to face this direction, turn the chair this direction.
This is like an actual comment. We needed more link between poverty and like
Income.
welfare, income disparity. Because
All we had was our observation.
I feel like we should
And
have won
stuff.
that last round.
It's that they just said that
We should have been 4-1.
Okay, all right, thank you. Hey, I appreciate that. I agree. Our link needed strengthening there. We did have some stuff, but we didn't all have it central to our focus, right? We had a lot of stuff that people weren't accessing and using because it was in some weird folder, right? And maybe we need to do a better job of organizing the PF stuff going forward, and that's something we'll look into as we go into nationals. Mahegan, do you have any comments? You weren't there. Never mind. You weren't there either. Kathurin, go.
Okay, I think there's something wrong with my partner. She's serious.
You should be serious too, Catherine. Next, Edmund, policy.
Hi.
Stop. Hey,
Yeah.
Hannah, stop.
Hi. Okay. So we were undefeated, and then we got slaughtered in finals. It was great. It was so sad. Why are you clapping?
Hey, guys, you know what? You didn't. Hey, first of all, despite everything, it was still a split decision.
It should have been a 3-0 loss. No, I don't know why that one judge voted for us. He was late. He
I'm
was
negative
late.
Nancy. Look at him.
I think I get it from my old national partner, Patrick.
All right, Anu.
I don't think you prepared us that well on theory debate and stuff because we ran theory and we were
We got screwed by Kondo.
All right, we did. You're right. It was a weak spot. I didn't have you prepped up for theory, and what you ran into was conditionality arguments that weren't even applicable, but that you got beat on anyway. You ran into I don't know if they ran nibs on you or not, but the thing is, you could have said, well, you're assigning necessary but insufficient burdens. They could have said that your plan is abusive for any number of different reasons. But the point is, I need to go over all those theory arguments going into nationals with the policy people, and we were going to go over those with everybody today, actually, in fact, a little bit later on, because I want everybody to be aware of the way the conditionality works in debate and the way that these things function. Okay?
Can I make a positive comment?
Yes?
As long as Kudos doesn't win policy, it's all okay.
No policy team for Kudos broke.
Public
And
forum. What?
Hey, listen to this, guys. Listen to this. Listen to this.
Daniel.
Not only did Kudos win public forum, they won it because 2 autonomy judges picked him up,
Yeah, I know.
and the lay judge picked up Daniel, Kyle, and Nova.
Yeah,
Lol.
I saw that. There's 3 autonomy judges
So,
in the
I think at this point, Kudos can't possibly accuse us of being biased, right?
Right.
Because we had 2 autonomy judges pick up their team, and what was apparently a low point win, basically. That Daniel Kyle was the higher speaker, the better speaker, but.
We got a low point loss. We got a high point loss. It's really sad.
All right. So anybody else? Let's see. Harry, you went in there and you were asked to Maverick. Okay.
And with 3-2. Don't forget he beat the people that kicked us out.
Hey, stop. Hey, guys. Edmund, when you watch that part, you're going to see how sad I am. You're going to hear it. Stop. Failure, failure, failure. Stop failing. Harry, speak words and everybody else be quiet.
There was like no examples on how welfare actually helps.
Okay.
So we had no offense.
So,
Exactly.
did you not run the takes people out of poverty thing? Or are you saying that you needed a more direct link to income disparities?
Yeah, no, they kept asking for like more real life examples.
Okay. Well, part of what you need to do then, guys, is if you,
I can't say it.
what I hear a lot from you guys is you allowed yourselves to be put on the defense. And that's the problem. And we need to go over how to address that better. Because if you're running your cases strong, they're on defense, and they're answering your critiques, and they're answering your questions, and they're answering your challenges. And they don't have time to be really attacking your case because you're too much on offense. And you have to get on offense by taking the offensive ground as quick as possible. In the first speech you have, in the crossfire or whatever, you got to take that offensive ground and push the issue onto their side of the flow where it belongs. Don't be arguing on your own side of the flow. Argue on their side of the flow. How do you do that? Put your hand down, Alice, and I'll get back to you. How do you argue on their side of the flow instead of on your side of the flow? Well, you need to position things through the framework that you set up. So if you're talking about a progressive tax, you need to position it, even though it's not a strong argument. If that's the argument you're going with, you need to say, is it your position fundamentally that we should adjudicate this round without considerations of matters of justice? If it is, then the problem is you could be advocating for the murder of all the rich people. If it's not, then it could be that if you don't advocate in favor, if you do advocate in favor of justice, then you're going to have to vote for us because we have the only just way of adjudicating this matter. You haven't addressed the justice issue, which is binary, that we address that we bring up in the progressive tax and spend argument. You have not addressed that. Therefore, we have rendered your case as a whole unjust because we have shown that it maximizes progressive spending and taxation. What are you pointing at?
Your shoes.
All right. The point is,
Damn.
do you guys understand how you have to argue these points if you're going to argue them? Now they're on defense. They have to point out that they have to wrestle with the fact that you made a binary claim against them. They're still wrestling with their sliding scale impacts. They're saying, well, we have bigger numbers, you have smaller numbers. You have zero numbers if you cannot address this binary issue of justice, and we have won it as we currently are winning it. Until you defeat this issue, no matter how big your numbers are, you might as well be advocating for genocide. You've got no possible claim to a just outcome here unless you address the issue of justice first. It is a necessary but insufficient burden for you to access your ground. Okay? If you had argued it like that from the get-go, even though it was a crappy-ish kind of strategy, it probably would have won. Because you would have had them on the defense. They would have been scrambling to be coming up with reasons why they're unjustified by a justice case is actually just, rather than you guys scrambling to come up with more numbers. First of all, if you had looked at Edmund's case, you would have seen that he simply extrapolated out and said, well, if we spend $1 trillion, we get 1 million new jobs. You guys were running this 29,000 new jobs thing. You have to extrapolate it like Edmund did, right? You have to turn that 29,000 into 1 million jobs. How do you do that? Just spend $1 trillion, that's all.
Yeah.
If you spend $1 trillion, you get 1 million jobs.
Yeah.
So let's spend $1 trillion then. Okay, but the point is, if you are feeling hamstrung by the weakness of your arguments or your case, it means you need to do something to them, right? You need to argue them differently, or you need to replace them, or something. Now, I understand that I did an inadequate job of stressing which arguments to run, which arguments to count on, which arguments to extend. I did say a few times, don't run that as your framework. Use that as an extension for blah, blah, blah. But I didn't hammer the point home adequately, and I spent a lot of time developing that case before I decided to turn on it and be like, no, I don't like that anymore. So it's not your fault that we didn't all make the change. And those of us who did, like Edmund and Lyle, they still didn't do particularly well. I do not know why they went 2 and 3. They walked out of there feeling very confident, highly confident they were 4 and 1. At worst, 3 and 2. And a couple other teams feel the same way. So we just have to realize that sometimes, sometimes shit happens, you know? I don't know. Regardless, also sometimes though, we've got legit shot when we do it right. You do. Don't you shake that goddamn head at me, woman. You have a legitimate shot at winning the national championship. You nod your head up and down. Boom, failure, boom. Listen to me. You better, now listen, I have had the kids before you. You remind me of Jeremy Stewart. I'm going to tell you the story of Jeremy Stewart right now. Jeremy Stewart did a speech. And it was a declination speech. And it was a speech by that guy who died of cancer.
That's nice.
Jimmy Valvon, or whatever his name is. Anyway, hey. He had 2 different events he was doing. And he didn't like his deck speech. He wanted to skip his 4th round because he said he was doing a shitty job. Candace made him go. My ex-wife, who was traveling with us at the time. And she encouraged him. He went there, walks around, encouraged him. No, you're doing great, Jeremy. It was great. So he breaks the quarterfinals. He breaks the semifinals. He breaks the finals. The whole goddamn tournament, nothing but negative nonsense. The whole goddamn time. Between every round. Oh, I suck. That sucked. I'm shitty. I hate my
Negative
life.
is best.
Just the worst attitude imaginable the whole tournament. Breaks to finals. Kills it in finals. I didn't get to watch the final round because I was watching finals of Congress, which was boring as hell. Anyway, the point is, award ceremony comes. 6th place. Somebody else. 5th place. Somebody else. 4th place. Somebody else. Keep in mind, before the awards, he was like, oh, I got 6th place for sure. I was the worst one in there. I was the worst one. 3rd place, somebody else. 2nd place. And it's down to the last 2 people, right? And I'm like grabbing onto Candace, and they're like, somebody else. He won the national championship. He won, yes. He won it. I have a kid who, this was, I don't know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. He won the national championship declination, and literally to the last second, he was spitting his negative nonsense. Until he was walking up on that stage saying like, okay, now finalists come for declamation come up on stage. As he was, like the last word before he walked up there was like, I got 6th place.
I have a comment.
Yes?
What if his negativity was his motivation, like Alan?
Okay, fine. Fine.
Everybody here has to be negative, so we can
It didn't work so well with Patrick.
But the point is, look, it doesn't work well with Patrick because Patrick had good reason to be negative. Now look, the thing here is this. You don't have good reason to be negative. None of us do. And I know, Alice, you have won a lot this year, okay? Just because you didn't win this last tournament, you don't suddenly turn from good to shitty, right? So if I failed you somewhat this last tournament, I apologize. That's my failure. And I won't do that again. I won't make those mistakes again, okay? For nationals, we will go in there prepped to death.
And rip
My goal, I don't want you guys to be able to remember your name because every single word in your brain is related to the debate topic. So that if people ask you your name, you say, resolved. Alright, so that's what we're going to do. Let's take a break right now.
Wait, so what's gonna happen?
Starbucks. Yeah, let's
I'm